What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about the pandemic at hand and how I do believe it's going to get better, but I also believe it's going to get much worse before it gets better. And I have some money, food, and water concepts that you may or may not want to take into consideration. But really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Also subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. The link will be in the description, trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. And if you want to help support the channel by getting some DYDSS merchandise, of course we have some precious metal themed t-shirts and hoodies which are up for grabs, along with a ton of other products, many of which are raising funds and awareness for different charity organizations. Any and all merch can be found by clicking the first link in the description section down below. Thank you in advance, it's more than appreciated. But today I have some money, food, and water concepts that you might want to take into consideration. And the reason that I'm making this video is because last night I had a conversation with my younger cousin. He and I are the youngest family members. He and I are probably going to have to take on the parental role right now. I feel like the tables are going to be turning. I talked to him and I said, hey, listen, we have a lot of family members that are senior citizens who are obviously much more susceptible to this virus pandemic that we have going on right now, this global health crisis. We have other family members who are going to be going stir crazy very soon if they haven't already. We have family members who have heart conditions who at the same time are nervous wrecks right now. We have family members that have epilepsy. We got a lot of stuff going on right now, and we cannot risk anybody falling down, losing their balance and falling down. We can't risk anybody having a heart attack. We can't risk anybody having a seizure and getting hurt or getting sick and having to go to the hospital, because that would subject them to more germs, viruses, and bacteria, and not to mention who can even afford going to the hospital right now. So I told him, I have a feeling we are going to be taking on the parental roles, and we are going to be trying our best to hold everyone together right now, hold this family together and take care of everybody, because we, after all, are the ones who are most useful in a time like this. And I told him a couple different tips that he's taking into consideration, and that basically is what inspired today's video. So the first thing I want to talk about is money prepping, if you will. And I posted a video yesterday talking about how some banks are experiencing a cash shortage, and in order to make myself feel better and avoid smacking myself in the face, I withdrew a good portion of the cash from the bank. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. And the reason for that was because if something bad were to happen on top of the pandemic at hand, let's just say there's a power outage for whatever reason. I remember during Hurricane Sandy, us here in New Jersey had like no power for a week and a half, and everything was cash only, because credit cards and debit cards are electronic payments. You can't make an electronic payment if there's no electricity, and you can't run to the ATM because that's electronic too. So in a quote-unquote cash-only world temporarily, I believe, in my opinion, from my perspective, it's best to have some cash on hand. However, if you flip it, many people are saying, I don't know how true it is, I would assume it's probably true, but some people are saying that some cash is actually contaminated with the virus. And a lot of businesses are basically doing anti-cash only. It's debit card or credit card only. So I do believe it's best to have some cash in the bank as well, especially if you enter a store or a business, which, by the way, you should be staying home, but if you had to go somewhere and it's debit card or credit card only, you are going to be basically taking care of yourself. But if you are going to be withdrawing cash from the bank, I'm not a professional, but this is what I did. I put the gloves on, I withdrew the cash, I put it directly into a Ziploc bag, and it's still in the Ziploc bag. I'm just leaving it there. I did not withdraw the money so that I could use it. I withdrew the money so I can have it in my possession, physical cash on hand. So those are just a couple things you want to take into consideration. And this channel is primarily about converting dollars into silver coins and gold bars and whatnot. But I think for the time being, it's probably best to stack the cash. I think it's best to stack the fiat, the currency, the dollars, in my opinion. Not a financial advisor, so don't take anything on this channel as financial advice, but for me personally, I'm not telling you what to do, you can do whatever you want, but for me personally, I think the smartest idea right now is to hang on to my cash, spend as close to nothing as possible, and make it last as long as I possibly can, because we have no clue how long this problem is going to last. We have no idea. There's 14 days or whatever, that could very easily turn into 14 weeks. Could potentially, theoretically, turn into 14 months. We don't know. So I don't want to take my cash and convert it into anything. I don't want to take my cash and invest it in anything. I know the stock market came crashing down. I would absolutely love to full-on attack right now, but I think the best, smartest move is to hang on to most of my cash, if not all of it. And now, moving away from cash, I want to quickly talk about food. Many people know canned soups and beans, boxed dry pasta, stuff like that, things with like a long shelf life are the absolute greatest to stock up on. And obviously, over the last 2 years, I've been loading up on canned soups and beans, boxed dry pasta, MREs, stuff like that. Things that last months and months and months or several years are the things that I little by little have been stocking up on over the years. So food-wise, I like to consider myself pretty okay and pretty well stocked, but I know a lot of people are not. And something that you might want to take into consideration if you haven't already, I know I just said hold on to as much cash as possible, but this could actually make some of your food last a whole lot longer if you do in fact buy one. I think it's like $45, maybe $50. I got myself a food dehydrator. The one that I have will be linked in the description. You can do a little bit of research on it and get that one if you want, or you can get something else, or you don't have to get it at all. But the reason I got a food dehydrator is because I was like, okay, I'm good on most of the food that I've been buying, but I can't really do anything about like the fruits and the vegetables, which, how long does that stuff last? A week? Week and a half? Not if you have a food dehydrator. What I do is I chop up the fruits into really thin slices. I'm talking like 1/8 of an inch thick. Apples, bananas, kiwis, pineapple, blueberries at one point, which I don't recommend because they tasted like cardboard. But there's a whole lot of fruits and vegetables and most other types of foods that you can dehydrate. And what the dehydrator does, it removes roughly 95% of the water that's inside. For those of you who do not know, there are two main components that cause fruits and vegetables to go bad: the water inside them and the oxygen outside them, the air and the moisture. So if you remove pretty much all of the moisture inside of it, and then you can also remove the oxygen by putting it into vacuum sealable bags, maybe toss an oxygen absorber in there and vacuum seal it shut, it'll go from lasting week and a half to lasting several weeks or several months or several years, maybe even several decades, depending on how you store them. It's a good way of making fruits last longer, so every time I go to the store, I get fruits and vegetables, obviously, just like everybody else, and I leave enough out on the table or in the cabinet to consume throughout the week, and any extra, I chop up into thin slices. I dry out, I dehydrate, and I put them into mason jars, or I put them into bags. I store them away to make them last longer. And what you can do is you can actually take a little post-it note and write down how many little slices equate to a full apple or a full banana or a full whatever. That way you can kind of clock or calculate how much you're actually consuming if you were to dip into your dehydrated fruits and vegetables and whatnot. That way you can kind of have somewhat of an idea of how much or how many vitamins, minerals, and nutrients and whatnot you're getting from the fruit and the vegetables. And by the way, it only removes a very, very, very small portion of the nutritional value. It removes roughly 95% of the water inside and only about maybe 5% of the nutritional value. So you're still going to be getting pretty much everything that the fruits and vegetables have to offer, aside from the water. Now, speaking of water, I want to segue away from food and talk about water. Now, I know a lot of people are in the store right now. A lot of people are fist fighting over cases of water and the shelves are empty and whatnot. This is something that I did a little over a year ago to hopefully combat ever having to resort to being desperate for water. I actually bought myself a water purification system. I got the BERKEY, more specifically, I got the big BERKEY, which is a 2.25 gallon unit. It doesn't need to be plugged in. It doesn't need to be attached to your sink or the plumbing or anything like that. It just sits on the counter. You could take it camping with you if you want. If you absolutely need to bug out, you could take it with you. It doesn't need to be plugged in, so it's great. It's portable, and it cleans, filters, and purifies the water. It removes 99.9999% of viruses. It removes bacteria, E. coli, particles of heavy metals, traces of pharmaceutical drugs, chlorine, fluoride. It cleans, filters, and purifies the water. Not just tap water, but if push comes to shove, you can actually fill it up with rainwater or water from the river or the creek if you absolutely needed to, and it will clean, filter, and purify the water so that you can drink it. So I fill up the top half of the unit, which is 2.25 gallons, and it filters down to the bottom half, which is 2.25 gallons, and I have clean, purified, filtered drinking water. And the cool thing is, I take that water and I fill up these big glass jars or bottles or metal canteens, and I stick them all in the fridge. So I always have water on hand if I needed to grab and go. And I told a family member of mine over a year ago that they might want to get the filter. They didn't listen to me, so now they're at the store doing MMA over bottles of water. But I said to her, I was like, hey, since you don't have the filter, since you didn't get one when I told you you should have got one, what you can do is when you finish your water bottles, do not throw them out. Do not recycle them. Do not get rid of them. Bring me your empty water bottles. I will fill them up with the BERKEY. So instead of getting one use out of the water bottle, you can get 2, 3, maybe 4 if you want. A 24 pack can last you 4 times as long if you want to just have me refill them. So I got myself a BERKEY. I'll link it in the description. I love it. I've had it for about a year, I think 10 or 11 months at this point, and it's 100% the best thing that I've ever in my life spent my money on. It's hands down, and I'm not even just saying it. I'm not like a salesman for the company or anything like that. I've been saying it for the last 10 or 11 months. It's honestly the happiest purchase I've ever made. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about, aside from the food, aside from the water, aside from the money, I want to talk about vitamins. This is something that not a lot of people are taking into consideration right now. A lot of people will probably be running out of their vitamins if they have vitamins, and if they're not taking vitamins, they're probably going to need them, because if this lasts a ridiculously long time, like I said, this could last weeks, months, could theoretically last over a year. We don't know. The dust might settle next month. It might settle next year. We don't know. And with this extended period of time of us maybe cutting back on how much food we're consuming, maybe we're eating cheaper, not the highest quality food, just to save a little bit of money or make our food last a little bit longer, whatever we're trying to do, I have a feeling people are not going to be getting the nutrition that they really need. I have a feeling people are not going to be getting the vitamins, the minerals, the essential nutrients and whatnot. So I think vitamin supplements could be a really smart move right now. So if you do have a full bottle of multivitamins, I know it's recommended to stay home. I'm saying to stay home, but if you're going to go against what I say, you need to absolutely go to the store anyway. While everybody is, John Cena-ing each other over food, maybe take a quick little run to the vitamin area, pick up an extra bottle of multivitamins or vitamin C, or if you want to do what I do, I take B12, I take zinc, I take magnesium. But one thing I was really thinking about was maybe picking up a bottle of vitamin D. I feel as though if this pandemic lasts a really long time, if we're all out of work for a very long time, we're probably going to be stuck inside most of the time. I have a feeling if we're out of work, we're probably not going to be working outdoors because we're out of work. We're probably not going to be going on vacations because we're out of money. We're probably not going to be congregating in groups and hanging out outside because social distancing. We're probably going to be trapped inside. And if you're not getting the sunlight, which is the major way people get their vitamin D from, we're probably not going to be eating the most nutritional meals. We might not be getting the vitamin D that we need from food. We might not be getting the vitamin D that we need from sun. For those of you who do not know, vitamin D regulates calcium, which helps strengthen your bones. I think strengthening your bones right now should be a priority. Maybe not strengthening them, but keeping them strong should be a priority. So I'm actually taking into consideration picking up a bottle of vitamin D. So I want everybody to head on down to the comments and let me know, what are your thoughts right now? How long do you think this is going to last? And also, more importantly, is there anything in this video that I did not talk about that you would recommend? I'm all ears. I'm all for learning and discovering new ways to prep and taking things into consideration that maybe I haven't thought about yet. So maybe you would be enlightening me to something, or enlightening to someone in the comment section who might be reading your comments. Let us know. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit the like button. If you guys like me, make sure to subscribe. New videos every single day, 365 days a year. Also subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. The link will be in the description. Trying really hard to hit 1,000 subscribers, so help us out. And if you want to help support the channel in the biggest possible way, please consider getting yourself some DYDSS merchandise. Of course, we have some precious metal themed t-shirts and hoodies, which are up for grabs. But of course, we also have a ton of other products, t-shirts, hoodies, even stickers, and many of which are raising funds and awareness for different charity organizations. Any and all merchandise can be found by clicking the first link in the description section down below. Thank you in advance. It's more than appreciated. And once again, I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know, is there anything you would recommend aside from money prepping, food prepping, water prepping, and stocking up on some vitamins? What are some other recommendations you would give to somebody who wants to prepare, or somebody who's been preparing but they're open-minded to new tactics and ideas and methods, or somebody who is completely clueless right now and is a nervous wreck and is panicking? Let us know in the comments section down below. And don't forget, anything that I talked about in today's video will be linked in the description in case you want to check it out or order it online. That way you don't have to go to the store. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.